welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing here a deck profile for my updated Sacred Beast deck. This was the competitive deck that I actually built last time, but this time I've actually made quite a few significant changes. I've taken up all of your feedback and I've adjusted this deck to actually be a lot more efficient, a lot more better, and overall just fitting in this particular format. So without further ado, let's just get started. Now before I dive on into the actual deck itself, I would like to remind you guys to drop a like if you actually enjoyed this video, comment, subscribe and hit that bell notification. It really does help. However, with that being said, let's just get started. So for monsters, we're right off the bat going to be playing here 2 copies of Raviel, 2 copies of Hamon, and 1 copy of Uriah. I believe this is the optimal ratio and it has been this way for quite a while now. I am actually choosing not to play the Shimmering Scraper Raviel version in this particular deck. I found that that particular card didn't actually work out as well unless you were focusing on a pure variant of the Raviel build. However, in this particular version, I am trying to play all 3 of them and incorporate it into a competitive build as best as I could possibly do. As a result, the Shimmering Scraper Raviel just does not work in the actual deck itself. But moving on, we have 3 copies here of Dark Beckoning Beast and we have 3 copies here of the Chaos Summoning Beast. Both are really amazing cards. Definitely have to play them at 3 because you want to see them in your hand most of the time, especially in your opening hand. However, with that being said, we're playing only 2 copies here of Dark Summoning Beast. I think it suffices. Although it's a really great card, I wouldn't play it at 1 copy because although it does have its certain restrictions where you can't actually attack that turn, it doesn't really matter because you just want to get this card in your opening hand and 2 copies is enough. 3 copies might be a bit much, but if you guys feel inclined to actually add in a 3rd copy, I wouldn't condemn you in any way. It would be okay to still do that. However, I am actually playing here 1 copy of Chaos Core. Although it is part of one particular combo, it is not a crucial combo to actually win the game with. As a result, only 1 copy is enough. Even if it gets banished, it doesn't matter because the rest of your deck can actually just utilize the rest of the cards. And if this is your sole combo in your actual deck, then there's something wrong with the actual playstyle of what you're going with for the deck. So Chaos Core is like that additional combo that you could throw in, but if something ever happens to the Chaos Core, it's no biggie. It's better to just play 1 of them and keep it at a really minimal level. That way you're not clogging up your deck by playing these extra copies of it. And that was kind of the issue I had last time where I actually had 2 copies and sometimes I'll just end up having the extra copy in my hand for no reason, which was just not beneficial. But of course, to facilitate our Link plays and also our Xyz plays, we're also playing here 2 copies of Exodius. Definitely a really amazing card. I still would like to keep this at 2 copies. However, if you guys wanted to drop it down to 1 copy, that would make sense. If you wanted to bump it up to 3 copies, that might be a bit much. I wouldn't recommend it. 2 copies is definitely the best to go with it. And I'm playing over here 1 copy of the Juzukuru, the Star Destroying Kaiju. Specifically chose to actually play this card because it is a level 10 monster, because either way your Sacred Beast can easily just get over your Juzukuru if you actually kaiju your opponents, because your cards can actually boost up in its attack. But in this particular circumstance, the Juzukuru being a level 10, you could use Mind Control and take back your Juzukuru and then just use it as an overlay material, which is absolutely amazing. Now onto the spells. It should come to no surprise that we're playing 3 copies here of Opening of the Spirit Gates. You want to open up with this card, you want to see this card in your hand majority of the time. We're also playing over here 2 copies of Fallen Paradise, just as important in the deck. However, 2 copies is more than enough as you don't really want to clog up too much of it. We're playing 2 copies just in case the first one gets destroyed, but also to maximize on that consistency of this particular card. It's definitely really amazing if you want to protect your Sacred Beasts. And of course, I'm playing over here the 1 copy of Cerulean Skyfire. Of course, in the previous build, I did play 2 copies of it, and it was one particular issue where it was just clogging up. Your opponent won't necessarily destroy the Cerulean Skyfire, it's not their biggest worry. they would prefer to get rid of your Opening of the Spirit Gate or your Fallen Paradise. Knowing that, the Cerulean Skyfire is also just specific to Hamon. As a result, I didn't want to max out on this particular card unless I was building a pure Hamon deck, which I will do in the future, don't worry about that. But with that being said, Cerulean Skyfire at 1 copy in this particular build is absolutely okay. And that goes without saying that we're also playing over here the 1 copy of Dimension Fusion Destruction as well. Absolutely amazing card, but you only really need it for the one build here to go into that one specific combo, and if it gets like banished or some sort of way, or it gets negated or anything like that, it's no big deal because it's not a crucial combo anyway. It's just that additional combo that can help you OTK your opponents, and if it goes away, you always have plenty of options to fall back on, which is the beauty of this deck. It has a lot of versatility and you could just go with so many different options in terms of attacking your opponents. However, moving on here, we want to play a bit of draw power, so with that being said, I'm going to be playing here 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. We have plenty of dark monsters in this deck, so it definitely works out really amazingly. Of course, we are also playing over here the 2 copies of Pot of Desires. Bit of a risky card to play, but it is still definitely worth it, and I would technically play it over a Pot of Extravagance for the fact that our extra deck is kind of utilized in this particular variant. And finally, we're playing here the Pot of Acquisitiveness. You have cards like the Allure of Darkness banishing off your Pot of Acquisitiveness. You also, as I said, you have this. You're banishing off your Sacred Beasts. As a result, you want to bring them back in some sort of way. You want to recover them in some sort of way. Pot of Acquisitiveness oddly helps out this deck quite a lot. And finally, for a bit of some staples, we are playing here the Instant Fusion, just a really good card to help facilitate the deck. Of course, it's only at 1 copy anyway, so there's nothing we could really do. We're playing here the Mind Control. As I've already explained its importance in this deck. It's to take back your Kaiju and go for an overlay. We're also playing here the 1 Called by the Grave, just to stop our opponents or hinder them from potentially disrupting you, of course, with their hand traps. And you play a 1-for-1 because you have Chaos Summoning Beast in the deck. And finally, we're playing here 2 copies of Super Polymerization. An amazing card, definitely really great because it goes into so many different targets, but at the same time, you could also go for your own as well. You could also use your opponent's monsters. You basically want to disrupt the opponent as much as you possibly can. Now as for traps, we're simply just playing 3 copies here of Awakening, and we're also playing here the Skill Drain. You want to just stop your opponent, you want to just disrupt them, keep them away from actually using their effects, and with that being said, these particular cards are definitely all you just need to actually accomplish that goal. However, with that being said, let's move on to the extra deck. The extra deck is quite simple really. You're just playing the new armor tile, you're playing the old armor tile, which is both really great of course because you could go into it with specific combos, so you only need 1 copy to accomplish those particular combos. But you also have here a Starving Venom, you have here Mud Dragon, you have here Millennium Eyes, you have here Chalice, Guard Dragon, Almaduke. These particular 3 over here are your Super Poly targets. Your Millennium Eyes is your Instant Fusion target, and these will be specific for combos. On to the links, we're playing here 1 copy of Almirage, specific to the Chaos Core combo. We're playing here the Relinquished Anima because we have level 1s in the deck, so it works out. Verte Anaconda because we are playing plenty of fusions in this deck, and it's specific to a certain combo as well. We're also playing here the Nightmare Phoenix, absolutely amazing utility card. Pentastag because it could actually still work out to give your Sacred Beast piercing damage. You have a high amount of attack after all. And finally, as for Xyz monsters, we're playing here the Trains just because they're just really nice to go into. I'm not playing the Spiders anymore. I felt that they were clogging up the extra deck because you're forcing yourself to play 3 cards that really was just meant to go into 1 card in particular. So because of that, I've decided to take them out and focus on these particular engines instead, giving you 3 options to go into with the potential of ranking up once more into a higher one, which is definitely much better. And that goes without saying that we're going to be playing here our Sacred Beast tokens. Not that we would ever actually use them, but even so, it's really nice that we actually get tokens for them. However, that was pretty much it for this particular deck profile, so I do hope you guys enjoyed it. With that being said, I'm still open to taking a lot of feedback as to what I could do to improve this deck. It would be very fun. Definitely share your actual deck list in the comment section below. However, with that being said, I do hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you all next time.